Lean is one of the most expensive drugs out there, and I don't think people realize how expensive lean is. And what lean is codeine cough syrup, like a Robitussin with codeine. Then it is Sprite 7 Up in a cup. You mix this together. You throw in some Jolly Ranchers. You throw in Skittles, whatever you want to kind of add the sugary flavor to it, and you drink it. And lean is sold by the lines. So there are lines in these bottles, which are each dose in a sense, or is each normal dose of cough syrup. And that's how it's sold. And lean is actually really expensive. Some areas lean is really easy to get. In some areas lean is not easy to get. There is such thing as fake lean out there that will sometimes have like benzos thrown into them or something else thrown into them that isn't the codeine cough syrup. So lean is expensive. And the best way I can explain this high is it's very euphoric and like a bear hug. And this is what I think makes lean really dangerous is this whole stigma, one around it, that it's safe. You hear rappers and everybody talking about it. I've even seen YouTubers talk about, like fitness YouTubers, share about how lean is safer alternative if you're working out than like alcohol is because of the calories and carbs. The thing that you don't realize though is that this is something that a lot of people get addicted to. And the reason that you get addicted to it is because it's an opiate. Opiate bonds to your brain receptors. So let's just break it down exactly, lean itself. So the stigma part. Little John, rappers, all these people talking about, cough syrup and purple drink and how it's cool. At parties I would find it because people would push it off as in, you didn't want to get, drunk because it is a different high than what alcohol is. So that's kind of what pushes you a little bit sometimes towards lean is that it's not going to make you black out in that same sense. Now, codeine itself is an opiate. It bonds to your opiate brain receptors. And what it does is it totally distorts how your brain feels and perceives pain. So taking this, like your body, you don't feel too much pain. You get a little bit amped up. It creates some dopamine. Your nose might itch a little bit. Like you feel it. You feel kind of good. The perception's off a little. The antihistamine helps kind of slow things down and relax you to some. It's like this warm bear hug. I think a lot of people really relate it to is just this warmth of this blanket, just yes, calm. Now, all of a sudden, it does bond to your brain receptors and your brain just remembers that this was an amazing feeling, that you felt great, that there was no pain. You're not gonna probably be addicted after the first drink of it, but your brain's never gonna forget it. If you're at another party and I guarantee you have the choice of lean or something else, you're probably gonna go to the lean. You're just subconsciously like, not even gonna realize why you're going to lean, but your brain remembers how great it made you feel, how slowed down it made you feel. And that's how you become addicted to lean. A lot of times you don't realize that you're becoming addicted. You just know that you like that feeling better. It's like, you picture it as in like alcohol, like you like vodka more than you do this or that or whiskey or whatever it might be. All of a sudden lean kind of comes into this mix that you like how lean makes you feel and it doesn't distort you as much and you can still kind of drive and you're still a little bit functioning. With too much of it, yes, it does make you more and more drowsy in a sense. If you push that drowsiness, it's a little bit like Quaaludes because antihistamines can kind of give you some sort of a visual effect because you're just so relaxed, but then also it is such a relaxing feeling because of the codeine and what it's doing to your system that you become more and more slowly dependent on it and you're just subconsciously dependent on it. That's what you don't realize. And so this party state, man, this is what you want. This is what you want. And eventually it gets to the point that you probably are going to step up. You're going to step up to a Perks or Oxy or hydrocodone. You're probably going to switch over to pill popping eventually just because your brain is now chasing this high. It subconsciously just wants this high. You'll find yourself randomly just calling up friends or people who you've gotten lean from before. Hey, do you have this? Or trying to figure out or find yourself Googling how to get your doctor to prescribe you, codeine cough syrup or what are the symptoms that you should do. I mean, that's where pharmacy shopping and doctor shopping really come into play. And I don't think people realize that of why addicts pharmacy shop. Lean is a good example of why we pharmacy shop and doctor shop because you're going to start looking up the symptoms that you have to get a doctor or convince a doctor to give you this. And you're going to become the best actor in the world to try and show these symptoms through so that you can get this prescription, get this, and use it. This is one of the reasons why it is so expensive. Why it slowly becomes so dependent. And again, you're not going to find users down the road. It's kind of like cocaine. where 5 years down the road, they're still hooked to lean. No, they're going to be on something else by that time. It is kind of that more intro drug that's going to lead to something else, usually along the lines of an opiate. And again, it starts to reprogram your brain, how you handle and perceive and feel pain. And let's face it, you're thinking that it's safer than everything else until it gets you to the point that you don't care anymore. And that's how addiction just kind of invades us, and why I share. I share for educational purposes only. When it comes to addiction, it is pure insanity. If you're new to my channel, hit the like and follow button. Comment down below if you've ever drank lean before, how you got introduced to it. I've done lean before. I've gotten introduced at high school parties. It would be there. It was usually by the cool kids in the corner. It wasn't usually something readily available at the parties. My dad was also a doctor. I learned that I could kind of finagle to get it at times if I had a bad enough cough. And so you end up drinking this stuff, and the high of it, because of how it is, it hits you in about 20 minutes, roughly 15 minutes. And man, it's just like this warmth that kind of takes over. It wasn't like alcohol where I'm ADHD, I would drink alcohol. Alcohol gave me energy. Alcohol would start to amp me up. I'd want to do whippets and let's party and let's do this. Where if I wanted a mellower night, lean was what I'd go to because it just made me feel mellow. It made me feel a lot more relaxed, but yet both were equally as dangerous. And that's the hardest thing ever, is like people will be like, well, what's more dangerous than lean or alcohol? Both. Alcohol ultimately I think is the more dangerous of the two, just because at a certain point it is the deadliest of detoxes. It has a fatality rate when it comes to DTs and actually cold turkey from quitting it. But lean itself is nasty because it leads you down this line of opiates. It leads you down this line of starting to pop pills to start having a more stronger dependency on it. And it's hard. You get to this point where it comes to lean and some of this other opiates that bond to your brain receptors. Your brain receptors get to the point where it doesn't have it. It's going crazy. So all of a sudden, you have pain all over your body, electrical shocks all over your body. You can't stop moving. You can't get comfortable. And your brain starts to mess with you without sleep and just going insane and needing this. And that's where you lead to something stronger, hydrocodone, Vicodin, whatever you can start finding, because I think pills are actually easier in a lot of cases to find than it is going to be codeine cough syrup. But this is essentially where lean is and what lean is and how lean kind of invades your system. Why people use it is because there is still a huge thing of lean out there. It is actually very commonly used by a lot of people. It's still something that is prescribed. They have cut back a lot on prescriptions when it comes to like oxys and stuff like that, but codeine cough syrup is still prescribed out there. So it is something that a lot of people can get their hands on, and it's looked at as a little bit safer. And that's the sad reality of it. And again, why I share for educational purposes, just to remind you, man, that if you want to get sober, you can get sober. My drugs of choice were alcohol and cocaine. And when it came to these, I was obsessed with them, and it's a fight to get sober, but it's finding what works for you. Whether it is going into rehab, inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment, finding what works, man. I have Refined Recovery down below. They're in Beverly Hills, getting with that therapist in there and coping skills and plans to get out. Rehab is amazing. You can download Sunflower Sober. It's on iOS and Google Play. It's an amazing app. You start tracking your days of sobriety. You have an AI sponsor with Sam. You have 24/7 support. There is journaling areas to help understand cravings and urges. There's resources and tests and tools to understand your addiction and to learn more about it, getting with a therapist. Then there is a whole community area of finding, what others have done and having that connection with others. Go to an AA meeting, an NA meeting, an Al-Anon meeting. Go to all the meetings and then some, but don't give up. Keep going to meetings, and you're going to find some meetings where you'll have some like real life support, which is huge. And then, go to a doctor, a psychiatrist, or even a therapist and find out what is the motive behind you using. Is there trauma there? Do you have to get on the right medications? Working on yourself, because you don't have to be a victim to your addiction. And it's scary when you see some of these substances like lean, that is one of these like intro gateway, in a sense, I guess you could call it, substances, where this isn't starting off with like cocaine, crack cocaine. This is something that's kind of mellow, but it leads you down this really, really dark path and this really solid path of addiction, which can lead up to, fentanyl's in this line of addiction. Now you're nodding out. That's the scary reality of it, and why I do share, because nobody should be there at all. I've lost friends to OD. You can die from ODs on opiates. You can die from an OD essentially on codeine cough syrup just because it does at a certain point with enough in your system block your receptors telling your brain to breathe because there's carbon dioxide in your blood. So that's how dangerous it is. But again, heed my warning. This is not stuff to play with. It is definitely not worth it. Again, comment your experience down below. Hit the like and follow button. And for the one that's fighting through, I'm proud of you. I know that it's hard. I know that it's rough. It's not easy, but it does get better. Don't give up and keep pushing forward one day at a time. And I guarantee you, whether it's in 2 months or 3 months or if it's in a year, at some point it is going to get better, and you are so worth that happiness.